South-South zone of the People's Democratic Party has re-elected Dan Orbih as its chairman. The election took place in Calabar, Cross River State on Saturday during the party's zonal congress. Chairman of the Electoral Committee, Peter, said Orbih polled 174 votes to emerge the winner of the election. Other officials elected include Alaba Turner, Secretary, Evelyn Weke, Treasurer, Ijoma Obani, Financial Secretary, and Timothy Okwoche, Organizing Secretary. Other elected officials are Iyeni Briggs, Legal Advisor, Prince Etim Eson, Publicity Secretary, Loveday Abaribote, Auditor, Phenomena Esubok, Woman Leader, and Patrick Asuko, Youth Leader. Speaking after the Congress, the newly elected zonal chairman, Orbih, said the party's problems are self-inflicted and promised to end impunity and imposition in the party and start the process of redeveloping and rebranding the party. He said, "We will continue to do what is right for the interest and development of our party in the South-South and Nigeria. This is a very critical moment in the history of our party, and we are going to do all we can to end the era of impunity and imposition. We will also start the process of rebuilding and rebranding our party. The expectations are high, but we will not disappoint the party." He also disclosed that he is not aware of any court injunction saying the party cannot conduct the zonal congress. He said they are guided by the order of the Federal High Court, Abuja, to conduct the congress. ATN reports that PDP on Saturday dismissed claims that it conducted its South-South zonal congress, stating that a reported gathering in Calabar, Cross River State was not an official event of the party. The dismissal was made in a statement by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba. He said, "The attention of the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has been drawn to a reported social gathering in Calabar, Cross River State, where the organizers falsely claimed same to be the South-South Zonal Congress of the PDP." Victor, what do you make of this issue? What do you have to say?
Interesting. You know, the drama unfolding in the PDP right now is for me, I see it as a minor set of a major issue that is coming up. Of course, you know, right from last year, sometime in last year, the section of the party had come up to say that Debo was no longer the publicity secretary of the PDP. And since then, there's been a factional, publicity secretary. So when Debo speaks, he speaks like as Debo. Most of the document that he has been signing has not been endorsed by the national chairman. I don't think even after that movement I've seen any document that he has issued and it was signed by the national chairman. It has always been signed by himself. And I don't think that is how a party works, where the function or role of the publicity secretary is to relate the decisions from the executive, national working down to the public, not to
arrogate the parts
himself.
Of the himself.
Yes. So when I see things like this, it's just like what we talked about. The flagrant abuse and disobedience of processes by individuals in high places. People do not want to follow processes. So we have a case where everybody claims to be the rightful person. Everybody, when you want to, you go to a court and you get an order. I mean, it's easy these days. Go to your state and get a judgment. Even when there's a judgment from any other court, I mean, your state, the courts in the state would not mind giving you another judgment. Pretending they are not aware of any other judgment. That's how you know that the judiciary is a major benefactor, a major problem of our democracy. Because when most of these things happen, you ask yourself, so who is legal and who is illegal? If Debo has come up to issue a statement saying that the NWC does not recognize the gathering that was held. And of course, I've seen on social media people come up to talk about how there were no governors of the South, you know, in the South, listen, making reference to the North Central, where, of course, the three governors were there. The national chairman, of course, he's from that zone, was there, and some other top government functionaries were there too. So people make reference and said it is not, but you know, we know how these things work. There's a court order that gave Federal High Court that gave the directive for them to go ahead with the Congress, while these other people were citing a judgment from the State High Court in Rivers State.
There was the one that Debo said that he got.
No, it's from it's the one from Rivers State.
The one will now
they were making reference to.
The one will now be, does Debo represent PDP? Debo Ologunagba, does he represent PDP?
See,
you recall that?
Yes, he does. He does. Have you, as an arrest, been given for what do you call it now? For impersonation?
There has been a disclaimer.
No, not disclaimer.
When the River State crisis happened, and Debo came out to announce a set of executives for River State PDP. Damagum, through the Deputy National Publicity Secretary, came out to issue a statement to say that Debo spoke for himself and not for the party. And this is the position of the party. You understand? This is the position of the party. And so far, we have seen a situation where Debo speaks and then the national chairman, either himself or through the Deputy Publicity Secretary, will come out to debunk all of that. But then when you say has arrest been made, the PDP crisis, it's more than meets the eye. Debo Ologunagba, of course, represents a faction of the PDP and the National Working Committee, as well as a faction of the Board of Trustees and also the neck of PDP. PDP is balkanized at all levels. At all levels, down to the elder statesmen, in quotes, that one would say, okay, would now be neutral and try to, mend fences. So now, Debo Ologunagba, it appears that when he speaks for that faction.
So, no, what I'm saying is, I'm trying to make reference to the fact that we've all agreed that the judiciary is plays a major role as to how our democracy is being run or destroyed. If the national chairman of the party believes that Debo is speaking for himself, what it means is that he's impersonating the national publicity.
He's impersonating the position of the chairman of the party. Actually.
No, not just
because
chairman.
He's releasing information or speaking
as the national publicity secretary.
He's speaking. He's speaking as the national publicity secretary of PDP.
That's who he's impersonating.
And he is speaking, giving out information not directed by the National Working Committee.
So he's an impersonator, supposed impersonator. Who is he impersonating? He's impersonating the national, supposedly, because
that's his position. And to the best of my knowledge, he has not been suspended from the party. He has not been impeached or removed from that
he was.
position.
I think it was sometime last when they said
there was a suspension and counter suspension. I can tell you that. And then after that, the faction of Debo Ologunagba suspended Damagum and some others, and then now Damagum came out to suspend Debo Ologunagba and some others as well. But they were told at the end of the day to let sleeping dogs lie. So the suspension and counter suspension did not take effect.
So it means he's still the.
So he is still the National Publicity Secretary. The question is, so he's not imposing.
So he's not impersonating.
Let's get it clear. Debo is not impersonating that position. But the information he's giving is not authorized. It's not authorized. And then when you say arresting Debo, on what ground?
No, I'm saying if the other side is no. I think I should be clear on that.
Talk of sabotage.
No, I think I should be clear on that. What I said is from what the other person is saying, that Debo is not the National Publicity Secretary of the party. What they are implying is that he's impersonating. And if he's impersonating, like they've insinuated, what is the...
No, he did not say Debo is not the National Publicity Secretary.
No, but it has been said.
What he said is that Debo is speaking for himself as Debo, not as National Publicity Secretary, because the information was not given to him. And you recall that when
so there's no case of impersonation.
When Debo was speaking, Debo was saying that these people were, appointed by the National Work, and they said they have not even resumed for, they've not sat. I think the last time they sat was September or so. So from where to where? Who gave him that instruction, right? So he is operating in his office, but passing information that was not handed down to him by the National Working Committee.
Or a faction of the National Working Committee.
When you say a faction of the National Working
Committee. Because
Committee,
another faction of the National Working Committee has severally aligned with some of the statements Debo has made.
Now the question would be, who is the chairman of the party?
Of course, that's why we get to the point where we're saying there's a lot of fragment, just like you've mentioned rightfully. There's a lot of fragment in the PDP from all levels, at all levels. And with that, a case as what has happened in this zonal convention, yes, is a case where certain members that are, of course, right members of the PDP, in the zone of the PDP in the South have come together and said they are organizing, because there was a statement earlier, by the PDP that, declaring that they are going to organize zonal, elections, of which later on, of course, a memo came and they said they are going to hold on. That's a memo came from Debo saying they are going to hold on the election of the South zone. There was no counter.
The question would be, who is? You counter?
The national chairman did not come out to say no, that we will not cancel that.
The question would be, who is Debo?
No, I'm saying if he has issued a statement, the chairman did not come to say.
Who is Debo Ologunagba to issue a statement cancelling something and he's not authorized by the chairman?
But the chairman has not come out, or did not come out to say what Debo is saying is wrong.
The thing, if you are the chairman and you have said it severally, and for some reason actions cannot be taken against Debo, who will give life to that? The issue is that Debo has spoken as Debo Ologunagba, yes? And so far, Damagum has not come out to say this is not legal.
No, see.
Has he come out to say that this South PDP convention was illegal?
No, the point here is there was a memo for this zonal conventions
or
congresses to be held. Now, eventually, along the line, then Debo spoke as a National Publicity Secretary and came out and said, citing certain reasons, including a court judgment, that because of this reason, that the South Congress would not hold till further notice, where the North Central and the other West would hold. There was no counter information to say no, because the truth is this. I mean, if you go to court today, and I present the paper that, look, the National Publicity Secretary has come out and say, at some point came out to say that this thing should not hold.
Signed by who?
Signed by the National Publicity Secretary.
Well. Now let's do the.
He's doing his function as the National Publicity Secretary.
Let's do the let's go to the nitty-gritty of leadership and hierarchy.
No. If we do that, we're going to be working on assumption.
Hold on. It's not assumption.
It is assumption because the chairman hasn't said anything contrary what Debo has said.
Listen, you go to court and say Debo signed National Publicity Secretary
on behalf of the party.
Hold on. Signed.
Yes.
Good. The question is, at what point did the chairman give that instruction? Because there has to be an internal memo that must be provided.
Debo said the National Working Committee issued it, of which the chairman.
National Working Committee is headed by the chairman of the party.
So he has said, by implication, he has said that the National, including chairman, has approved that this thing should not hold.
Are you aware that if the National Working Committee holds a meeting, there will be minutes? When you go to court, it's not business as usual, because there will be evidences for you to back up the authorization that you have
You know, we agreed here that Debo is still the National Publicity Secretary. That's what we both agree. So if we agree that he's a National Publicity, and he has come out to say that members of the National Working Committee, including the chairman, Damagun, has said, citing certain issues, including the court judgment, that is the reason why the South-South Zonal Congress should not hold. He has said it on national television, published in national newspaper, and he has said, the chairman said it. Now the chairman has not come out, did not come out to say, no, I did not say this. So if we start saying the right thing to have been done, we will not be working on assumption. It is for exactly. And yes, don't forget, he was in the convention held in North Central. He was there participating in that convention. No governor attended this other one held by, held in Calabar. What does that tell you? No South-South governor. And we have 3 governors.
Now, when you talk about no South-South governor, let's look at the position of the PDP Governors Forum in this crisis.
Yeah.
Right. These things will play a role, don't you agree?
I agree, but in this instance...
governors led by Bala Mohammed,
yes,
has a position and they have their faction,
yes,
in this crisis.
Yeah.
And when you talk of the PDP Governors Forum, that includes the South-South PDP governors.
Of course.
They have their position.
Of course.
So now, if this particular gathering, because it appears that when conferences or congresses are being held, it's held by factions. So the faction that you don't belong to, when they hold Congress, you're not expected to be found there. No, you remember that when it comes to the governors, they are always referred to as the leaders of the parties in their states. Now, if the leaders of the parties, in quotes now, leaders of the party in their states are not represented, and you do an election that they were not represented, who would you say did the election? Now, this is where the conundrum will come from. If Dan Orbih is saying that election was given, that Congress was given life by a court.
The Federal High Court, yes.
And it is constitutional. And of course the secular was shared.
Yes, it was.
The states, all the actors would have gotten information of that Congress and chose to boycott it.
Yes.
If majority gathered and there was a quorum formed, any decision taken is binding.
Of course.
So you could say the South-South governors chose to boycott.
Of course.
And whatever the outcome of the Congress will be binding on them.
Of course.
Pending when, because probably this will be a matter of
litigation. Yes.
Of
So you see that at the end of the day, like I said when I started, I said this is just a fraction of a bigger issue that will come up in
view of this, as we round up, how do you see this affecting PDP in 2027? Because it appears that nobody is willing to back down at this point.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a very serious fight for the PDP because it seems obvious that they have been fragmented into several, sections as a party with no definite interest. You cannot tell me the interest of the South-South governors of the PDP. There's no defined interest of them. There's no defined interest of even the General Governors Forum. There's no defined interest of the party leaders from Atiku to Wike. There's no defined interest. You cannot say this is the plan of these people. And when a people gather and there's no defined direction, there will be chaos, there will be conundrum. And this is what we're heading towards. The PDP we're seeing a PDP where people have their personal interests and they are fighting to protect just their interests and not the interests of the PDP, because the PDP in Bayelsa has a different interest, totally fighting for her interests in Bayelsa State and not PDP generally. The PDP in Rivers State, same thing. Delta State, same thing. So we're going to see a situation where we're going to see a very scattered PDP in 2027.
Interesting.